Good evening and thank you for joining us for this virtual community meeting for the Cottage Grove Lane 1 fire. My name is Natalie Weber. I'm a Public Information Officer with the Oregon Department of Forestry Incident Management Team 1. And tonight we really just wanted to bring you an update on the incident itself, look back at a little of the history, as well as look forward onto what are the next steps. When these fires first started in mid-July, the North Carolina Incident Management Team was brought in. They did a lot of work to really corral these fires as they slowly grew into one. Oregon Department of Forestry Team 1 was brought in once they hit their 3-week period. We've been here for about 2 weeks now, and we've been able to continue their work and get a line around the entirety of the fire and get it to that 74% containment. Now we're looking to the future as we're ending our tenure here, and there's a couple different transitions that are in the works right now. Beginning on Friday, we'll have both local folks as well as an incident management team from Alaska, Team 1, that are going to be shadowing us to be able to take over command of this incident on Saturday. And so with that, we just wanted to bring you an update on that transition, what that looks like, and hopefully answer some of the questions that you may have in regards to that. So tonight we'll hear from our operations about the current fire status, as well as what that looks like in the future for this incident. We'll hear from our incident meteorologist about the upcoming weather that we have, including some rain in the forecast. We'll hear from the agency administrators about what's going on for their agencies and what this transition looks like for them, those agencies that their land has been affected by this incident. And we'll also hear from our incident commander on a little bit more about this transition and what that looks like. So thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, Kyle Gibbons, Operations Section Chief with the Oregon Department of Forestry Team 1 on the Lane 1 incident. We'll go over the kind of the current fire status, and before that, what brought us here. So lightning storm that came through on July 17th started multiple fires throughout the Cascade Range, and then several of them burnt together. There was a shortage of resources, active fire behavior, a series of other things that went on there, and then that's what brought us to the Lane 1 incident. So it's currently sitting right around 25,000 acres, and then the perimeter. So we can see that we have black line on a lot of the perimeter here, and what that is, that's a tool for us to measure how comfortable we are with the containment in this portion of line. So as we start to work around a fire, we get a fire line around the edges, and then we start to secure that perimeter. So we have a fire line, work our way in from the edge. So you don't lose a fire from the middle. It's from the perimeter. So we work around the edges with hand crews, dozers, water tenders, engines, and basically dig up those hot spots, and then put water on them and secure that perimeter. So the idea is you eliminate heat along the perimeter, and then the majority of the fire were in that 150 feet to 300 foot range. So that's what the black line shows. And then where there's red line doesn't mean like that we feel that's just the fire's gonna blow out of there. It's just that we're not totally done gridding, working, digging up those hot spots along that perimeter there. So currently we don't anticipate any control issues on this incident. We're continuing to improve and get depth and just build day after day. We haven't had any real flare-ups or anything that goes across the line for several shifts now, and so we're able to just build off that progress from the day before and increase that containment. So we're currently sitting at 74%, and we just anticipate that to continue. The other thing that's going on is in this area generally, we've had fairly mild conditions lately as far as the weather goes. So we're trying to get this fire to a point where we feel it'll withstand some of those higher temps, lower humidities, and then those east winds that commonly show up in the fall. So that's what's going on. Like right now, conditions are fairly mild. We even have a little bit of precipitation in the forecast over the next several days. But we're just going to use that forecast, take advantage of those opportunities to increase that depth on the fire and then get it in a position where we feel it'll withstand the east winds that most likely will show up this fall. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Muesley, the incident meteorologist here on the Cottage Grove Lane 1 fire. And my role here is to predict weather not only for firefighter safety, but for operations. So what are we looking at for the next week? Today is going to remain beautiful with those sunny skies and those moderate temperatures, something that I think all Oregonians really agree on enjoying for this time of year. But as we move into Thursday and Friday, we're looking at yet another wet pattern. We have low pressure coming in from the Gulf of Alaska, which is going to bring widespread rain and some cooler temperatures. On Friday, we even have a slight chance for some thunderstorms. We're not looking at anything as expansive as what we saw on Saturday, but definitely we cannot rule out a lightning strike or two. Starting on Saturday, those showers are going to dissipate and we'll start to trend warmer and drier. On Monday and on Tuesday, we're looking at high pressure building, which will keep conditions warm, dry, and we're even looking at a little bit of a heat wave. The Climate Prediction Center has said that we're trending above normal for temperatures and below normal for precipitation. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean really high above normal, but a few degrees still will keep us warm and dry.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Becca Brook. I'm the Forest Service Agency Administrator on the Lane 1 fire. And I just want to start by thanking all of our partners who have been so instrumental in helping us handle this emergency situation. You know, we really appreciate the work of the Oregon Department of Forestry, the Lane County Sheriff, Bureau of Land Management, and all the firefighters out there, whether federal or contracted folks. I think that, you know, it really takes a community to handle a situation like this, and it's been so impressive on this fire, the coordination and collaboration. So deep appreciation to all our firefighters. You know, at this point, the fire is looking really good, right? We're at about 70% containment, and we're really trying to mop up and make sure that our containment lines are going to hold as weather continues to change. We had some rain earlier this week. It's dried out now. Likely to have some rain in the next few days, but then a hot, dry, warming spell next week. And so we want to make sure that the good work that's been done continues to hold, and we keep the fire inside the perimeter. You know, as we've gone through this firefighting effort, there's been resource damage as well, right? We've had to take trees down, we've had to put in some dozer line just to check the fire. And so a big part of the work ahead of us is fixing up that resource damage, doing some suppression repair. So that's things like putting in water bars to ensure that there's not erosion happening, picking up stuff that had to be taken down, making sure the roads are going to be safe. And so we are going to have firefighters up on the hill for probably the next couple of weeks. And so even as the smoke may be lessening, just know that there's still a lot of work happening out there. And because of that, we ask that the public really pay attention to the fire closure. You know, the Umpqua National Forest is taking a hard look at our closure. It may change in the next week. Please check our website before you head up to the forest, because a lot of the forest is closed as we're continuing to do suppression repair work. I'd also just ask, you know, we're still in fire season. I know the weather's cooled off. It kind of feels like fall. We're thinking about football coming up. And as we know here in Western Oregon, right, the fire season does not end until October, until the rains come. And so please pay attention to our public use restrictions. Make sure that if you're going to have a campfire, it's in a metal ring in a Forest Service campground. And be fire aware, because again, as things dry out, there is definitely a chance that we'll have new fires on the landscape, and I just really appreciate the community paying attention to that. I think that's what I've got. Thank you to the community. We really appreciate your support, and we'll look forward to seeing you out there.
Good afternoon. My name is Joe Aragon, and I am the Agency Administrator for the Bureau of Land Management for the Northwest Oregon District here on the Lane Fire. And I would just like to say that these wildfires, when they break, our number one concern is for public and firefighter safety. Yet no wildfire recognizes nor understands jurisdictional boundaries, borders, nor any sort of difference in land ownership. So it becomes critical for good interagency coordination, cooperation, and working together during that initial response. Our cooperative agencies, our private landowners, and our community leaders have done an exceptional job in bringing our resources together and working as one on this fire in order to address the initial danger and response, in order to protect our communities and our public. And so I would just like to commend the Oregon Department of Forestry, the Bureau of Land Management, the U.S. Forest Service, and the Douglas Forest Patrol in how they came together and worked together in order to get the initial response and the initial threat to our communities contained. And now as the fire kind of shifts into more of a less of a threat to the public, and our concerns shift towards protecting our natural resources and preparing for the incoming fall when rains and erosion occur. And so we still are working together and working hard on the fire line in order to prepare for that upcoming fall.
Craig Pettinger, Agency Administrator for ODF. I'd like to take a moment to thank ODF Team 1 for coming to the Lane 1 fire and helping us get this in the good condition that it's in now. They've spent a couple weeks here and left us with a very good package. As we move forward, ODF will have a small Type 3 organization out here. It'll consist of some hand crews, some engines, one aircraft, just to make sure this thing is taken care of and make it through any weather problems we might have over the next few weeks. And then so just want folks to be aware that there will be folks still moving around the fire area. We appreciate your patience to this point, but just know that there will be folks working in the fire area for the next several weeks. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Rory Collins. I'm the agency administrator representing the Douglas Forest Protective Association on the Lane 1 fire, and I would like to express my gratitude to ODF Team 1 and the response that they've provided since the fire progressed back in July. Things are looking way better now. I think the communities and everybody involved should have the comfort in knowing that this fire is basically a wrap, and it's from the effort of both fire teams, but obviously Team 1 came in with a swift and effective manner of putting this fire to bed and taking advantage of some weather opportunities and just flat out some hard work to get this thing put to bed. So as a whole, I'm very happy. We don't have a huge dog in this fight as far as acres go, but we definitely have the same landowner interest and landowners that were affected on both sides of the line, and it's been a great cooperative effort on everybody's part. As far as ODF and DFPA's presence on this fire, we will trend down into a Type 3 type of organization, which just means that it's a smaller organization based locally and supported locally until basically until the threat of any sort of fire and suppression repair is dealt with and over with, and we'll be out here every day and probably every night for the foreseeable future, finishing that work up for the communities.
Hi, my name's Joe Hessel and I'm the Incident Commander with Oregon Department of Forestry Team 1. We came in just a couple of weeks ago behind a team from the state of North Carolina who'd been here about 3 weeks prior to us. Our tenure has added a couple of weeks on to what they had done. And we've got a lot accomplished building on what they had started and the plan that they had underway. During our tenure, we've got the fire to a point where when we leave in a couple days, it'll be over 90% contained. It's had a line around it now for over a week, probably 10 days or so, and the footprint hasn't changed at all since that time. We've been able to secure those lines really well, we think, with a lot of hard-earned grubbing with tools and mopping up and digging as I'm sure you're aware if you've been following along, and we're feeling very confident that the lines that we have in place are secure and that the new organizations coming in behind us will have a good package when we leave. And related to that, I think you've already heard, Oregon Department of Forestry's Team 1's last shift will be Saturday the 24th. We'll be transitioning to a team from Alaska at 6 p.m. that evening, and they'll take the east side of the fire, the mostly Forest Service side of the fire, and they'll do some patrol and mop up on the fire suppression related work there, but the bulk of their mission will probably relate to suppression damage repair, rehabbing any damage that's been created by our suppression work. On the west side of the fire, we'll be turning the incident over to the local Oregon Department of Forestry and Douglas Protection Association districts, and that'll be managed by a Type 3 incident commander and a local group of resources from ODF and DFPA. And I have high confidence in both those organizations that they'll work together really great going forward, and not only make sure the fire stays secured, but take care of any suppression repair work needed before the fall rain set in. We've had a great stay since we've been here. I'd like to thank the local communities that we've been a part of. They've been great hosts. Certainly the landowners' properties that we've been staying on. The Lane County Sheriff's Department has been a good partner with us, and definitely the local forest industry as well. And with that, I think I'll end this short chat and hope the best for you folks going into the rest of the summer and the fall. Thank you.
That concludes our speakers for tonight. If you do have any questions, please let us know in the comments or send us a message, and we hope you have a good rest of your evening. Thank you.